But she said to them, "Do not call me Naomi, call me Mara, for the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me." By focusing on the negative, Naomi became so bitter that she could not see the good and positive plans God was working. When you're going through a hard time and you believe that this is the end of it, I don't see a way out, I don't know what's going to happen, just trust God. Just trust God, because God is behind the scene working out a plan that is good for you, a plan that is best for you, even if you don't see it, and that's okay. Just keep trusting God. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Ruth and Naomi. Mostly I'm going to be focusing on Ruth. Ruth is the daughter-in-law of Naomi, and the story goes back where their husbands died and they had to move to a different move back to Naomi's country. Anyway, when they moved back to the country, they had nothing. They had no food, they had no money, they had nothing. So Ruth said to Naomi that she wants to go out in the field, and she wants to go and she want to glean or gather grain so that they can have food to eat. So this is what Ruth said to Naomi. "Please let me go to the field and glean heads of grain after him, in whose sight I might find favor." So the thing, based on what this is saying, in whose sight I might find favor, this is telling me that not everyone is going to be willing for someone to come to their field and pick up the leftover grains. Some people are going to be like stingy and like, no, I need that to sell. I'm not going to give it for free. So she's going to go, and whoever finds favor with her, that's where she feels she's going to stay in, and that's where she's going to gather all the grains for she and her mother-in-law. So she happened to came upon this field, the owner of this field, and his name was Boaz. So this is what she said. "And she said, 'Please let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves.' So she came and has continued from morning until now, though she rested a little in the house." So she was a hard worker. Based on what the Bible is saying, Ruth was a very hard worker. She works from morning. She was just working. She just rested a little. She didn't take long breaks. She decided that she was on a mission, and the mission was to gather food for she and her mother-in-law. So she wasn't idling. Some of the time, God cannot put favor upon us because we're too idle. We're always taking a rest from work, from something. If we're doing something, we're always like taking too of a long rest. We need to work hard. And when we're working hard and God see that we're putting out all the effort to work hard to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish, then He's going to favor us. He is going to favor us. But God needs to see that we are not lazy people. So Ruth is gleaning in this field, and they found favor in her. And this is what verses 8 it said. "Then Boaz said to Ruth, you will listen, my daughter, will you not?" It's a question. "Do not glean in another field, nor go from here, but stay close by my young women." And I'm going to pause there. Because Naomi was such a hard worker, she just rested a little. She was working all day. Because she was such a hard worker, the owner of the field find favor and asked her, "Do not go to any other field. Stay here. Stay in this field." So right there, that favor is consistency. Because if you leave and you go from this field to that field to that field, you're going to waste time. You're going to waste the day away. So in this verse, by Ruth just staying in one place and gleaning every day, that is consistency. And a lot of us, including myself, we lack consistency. Throughout this message today, you are going to see how being not lazy can upgrade you. You're gonna see how the upgrade go as I read along. So Ruth right now, she have consistency. So she go home, there is consistency, there is stability. So when she go home in the evening, she don't have to be thinking about going to a different field and getting rejected by this person, going to a different field. No, there is consistency right here. She have a foundation because Boaz found favor in her. And then we go down to verse 10, and this is what she said, and this is what happened. So she fell on her face, bowed down to the ground, and said to him, why have I found favor in your eyes, that you should take notice of me, since I am a foreigner? Again, that's right. Ruth was a foreigner. She was not from that part of the country. And when in verse 10, she bowed down her head, to the ground, and said to him, why have you found favor? Why you favor me? This is telling me this is gratitude. Ruth is showing gratitude. Some people can be just like, okay. But she was so grateful. So by bowing her head, she is, it's gratitude. So she is showing gratitude. So if you notice, Ruth is starting from the bottom. And if you're following the story, and you can go back and you can read the book of Ruth. I'm reading from Ruth 2. So follow the story. Favor is being added. So Ruth was humble from the beginning. From the beginning, she was humble because she asked to go in the field to glean. She didn't feel like she was better than starting from the bottom. She didn't feel like that's too low for her. I'm not doing that. No, she wanted food. She wanted to take care of herself, take care of her mother-in-law, and she was willing to start from the bottom. She was willing to actually go out and ask. So she asked. The Bible said, ask and it shall be given to you. So she was not ashamed to start from the bottom. So she went out and she asked. And she didn't ask to I want to be one of the reapers. She said, can I walk behind you guys? And picked up the grains that fell from your cart. Can I do that? Picked it up. So she was willing to walk along from the bottom. And she did it gracefully. She humbled herself and she did it gracefully. And because she was a hard worker, and because of that, now she was upgraded where she get stability, a place to come every day to glean. And with that, she wasn't cocky either. She acknowledged what Boaz has done for her. So now she is grateful. And she is bowing and said, why you have found favor in me? Let's go on and see why Boaz have found favor in Ruth, besides the fact that she wasn't lazy. Okay, it said, verse 11, and Boaz answered and said to her, it has been fully reported to me all that you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of her husband. And I'm going to pause there. Fully reported, because Boaz was doing an investigation to know about this woman. She is a foreigner. She's in my field. I need to know about her. I need to do a background check, as we would say, a background check. We need to do a police record. We need to do that. So Boaz, of course, did a report, and the report that came back was good. It was positive. Now, the question that I'm going to ask, and when I'm talking, I'm not just talking to you guys, I'm talking to myself. And because life is about learning and growing. So this is not only about you. The question is, if God was to do a background check on us, what would he find? If God was to do a background check, what would the report be? And of course, this might sound like a very silly question, because we know that God knows everything. God knows our heart. He knows everything about us. But I'm just saying, or even said, if someone, let us not say God, let us say if someone of authority was to do a background check on you, what would the report say? Would there be a good report? Would be a good recommendation? Like a lot of us, when we want to go to work, we have to do a police record check, and if we don't pass it, we cannot get a job. So it is very important that when people decided to do a background check on us, that the report come back clean. We need to, this is not only, we're talking about a spiritual background check as well. We need to have a spiritual background check. When we have a spiritual background check, what is it going to say? What is the report going to say? So this is why Boaz was saying, you know what, I did a report, and I've heard what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of her husband. So Ruth was a kind person. Ruth was a kind person. So, it's all about the personality. Leading up to there, she had a very positive personality, and that is the reason why she's been favored. Okay, so let's keep going. Verse 15. And when she rose up to glean, Boaz commanded this young man, saying, let her glean even among the sheaves, and do not reproach her. So another favor, right? So she got this favor, this upgrade, where she can stay in this field. She don't have to go anywhere else. She got stability, consistency, and foundation was laid for her. Then she was very grateful. She expressed her gratitude by bowing and saying, why do you find favor? Then Boaz answered and said, because of what you have done for your mother-in-law, because of the goodness that you have done, because of the kindness you have done, that's why you can stay in my field. And not only that, it goes further. The owner, Boaz, said to the reapers, accidentally, leave some behind. Leave some, let her glean even among the sheaves, and do not reproach her. So now she is not only walking behind and picking up from the ground, now she is actually reaping among them. So she is in the field. She is not just getting the leftover anymore. She is actually gathering the good things. That is how God wants to favor us. That is how God wants to upgrade us. He wants us to take us from level to level to level. But in order for God to take us from level to level to level, we have to be humble. We have to surrender to Him. We have to give our life to Him, and so that He can work in our lives. And we have to be patient as well. We have to be willing to start from nowhere to get up there, because a lot of the times we're so ignorant. And because we're ignorant and we don't want to do the dirty works, we don't want to start down there because we believe that we are better than that position. We're better than that position. But God wants to, sometimes it's not a matter of saying that that's where God wants you to be, but He wants to see how obedient you are. So obedience is very, very important. And I'm going to stray off a little and say this. Don't let anyone come into your walk with Christ. Don't let anyone cause you to deviate from your path that you're on, because I am telling you, the devil is really don't like to see when people are living for God, or when people are trying to live for God. So he will always put things in people's way so that they can deviate from the path. And people will say things, people will say things that will want you to leave, but do not leave. Be humble. People will even say things like, I thought she was better than that. I thought he was better than that. No, look what he has to be doing. Look what they're doing. I would never do that. I would never do that. But it's all about obedience. God wants to see how obedient you are and where you're willing to start from before He can upgrade you. And I'm going to go to verse 16. And it said, also let grains from the bundle fall purposely for her. Leave it, and that she may glean, and do not rebuke her. So He was like, let she glean among you guys. Let grains purposely fall on the ground for her. Do not rebuke her. When you see her gathering things, when you see her, It doesn't matter how much it is. Do not rebuke her. I said so. I said so. Do not rebuke her. The thing is, every upgrade is better than the one before. Do you believe that God can do the same for you? And me? Because God wants to do the same for us. He wants to upgrade us. He wants to take us from level to level. But just like Ruth, ladies, this one is mostly catered for ladies. Just like Ruth, ladies, we have to be humble, we have to be obedient, and we have to be willing to start from the bottom up. We have to be willing to do the dirty work. We have to be willing to do the things that people don't want to do. We have to be willing to go to places that other people don't want to go. Because God is testing us. God wants to see how obedient we are. Because if we cannot handle the starting from the bottom, we won't able to handle the top. We won't able to handle the top. And in this Bible, like here, I'm gonna read like the summary, like a summary part here. I'm gonna read. It said, many of the poor women flirted with the reapers and tried to steal grain. But Ruth soon gained a reputation for such honesty and integrity that the owner commended her. So this is what I'm saying. Okay. Did you hear that? Some of the young women flirted with the reapers. Be honest. It's common. Sometimes a lot of women flirt for what they want. Is that the way to go? No, that's not the way to go. That is not the way to go. Ruth didn't have to flirt. Ruth didn't have to steal. She didn't know any of those things, but she was actually she kept a reputation. Reputation is very important. Reputation and integrity is very important. Keep your reputation in spite of what is going on. Do not do what the world is doing. And when you find yourself, first of all, because a lot of the times, not because you're going to church, that doesn't mean that you find yourself. In all honesty, I have been born and raised in church from birth, from before even I was born, I was in church. But I last year was when I gave my life to Christ. And I didn't get baptized last year. If that you're wondering, oh, maybe she get baptized. No, I did not get baptized last year. I am baptized a long time ago. Being baptized and giving your life to Christ is completely different. Because you can be baptized and still, doing things that you're not supposed to be doing. When I said doing things that you're not supposed to be doing, like they're like you're not fully surrender, like you're not fully surrender. There is just certain things that is just not, spiritually connected to God. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So Ruth maintained a reputation. She didn't do what the others do. A lot of the times, especially for Christian content creators, guess what? We see the world doing something one way, and there is trends and all these things is going on, and we think that we should jump on that trend so that we can get our videos to be boosted and we can have all these success like everyone else. Or we should do what they're doing. They're doing things this way, we should follow them too. Do not do it. That is their way. Do not do the things of the world. Do not do it the world way. Do it God's way. Do it like Ruth. These other women, they flirted and steal and they didn't go anywhere. It didn't get them anywhere. But what did Ruth do? Follow. Do what she's supposed to do. Maintain her reputation. And she was honored. The owner commanded her. Okay, it said, God uses the faithfulness of ordinary women to accomplish his extraordinary plan. Did you hear that? I'm going to read it again. God uses the faithfulness of ordinary woman to accomplish his extraordinary plan. We know that God is nothing near ordinary. Everything about God is extraordinary. But what surprises some people, though, is how God can use anyone to do his work. Is how God used ordinary people, people who don't fit the part, people who don't look the part. Those are the people that God used to do his extraordinary work. Ruth didn't fit the part. She was a foreigner. She started from the bottom. She wasn't in office. She was the it's like we're saying like, oh, she was just out there. She was the bottom. She was in office. She wasn't the CEO. She didn't have that title. But what she had humility, and she was respectful, and she keep her dignity, and God uses her so that me and you can see how to operate in life, how to operate in society. This is an example. This is an example for us, for women, how we should react, how we should carry ourselves, how we should behave, and don't do things the way the world do things. And do things the way the world do things. So that is my do things. So guys, I just want to remind myself that we should always listen to God. We should always, carry ourselves and conduct in a manner that where it is godly, and not do things according to the world, but do things that is going to be pleasing to God. If you like this video, please, I'm asking you to share it with someone you know. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.